Devang?
Hello, I am Devang Modi. I am a final year duality student.
Okay. Soumi?
Yes, I'm a research scholar in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering under Professor Shorangshu Bhattacharya.
Thanks. Is Karanam here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please introduce.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Karnam Tejender. I'm a final year undergraduate dual degree student.
Thanks. Is either of Yogesh or Rohit present here? Okay. So I'm trying to contact the other person. So we are having a slot clash with the TA. So that will be finalized soon.
Right. So let us go ahead. Yeah. So with the course conduction. This is for the lab part. So in the morning you have already seen the the course conduction details from Professor PPD. Okay. So for the lab part again, there will be 3 class tests. Okay. And class tests will be held on as quizzes on Moodle. Okay. So these class tests will be time bound. So there will be a time limit given, typically like 1 hour or 2 hours, something like this. And you have to finish the test within that time, or you have to finish the quiz within that time. No discussion is allowed, and so it's like a test, so you will not get any help from anywhere. Okay. Yeah, and obviously if you are found communicating or plagiarizing, then you will get a 0 in that test. Okay. And then you will have 6 to 7 assignments. Okay, where we will float the assignment. And again, it will be a problem, which will be a slightly larger problem, which will be given to you. On this, discussion is allowed. Okay, you can discuss with. So I will describe the assignment in the class, and then you can either discuss with us, the teachers, or you can discuss with the TAs. Okay. And then you can also have discussion among each other, but you should not plagiarize. So you should do your assignment individually. Okay. So some part, so we will come to it. So some of the assignments will be in group. So there you have to do a group submission. Okay. But you have to submit individually, but you have to do the assignments in a group. Okay. But for the initial first 4 assignments, you should not do it in a group. So your submission will be checked for plagiarism, and yeah, so you will get a 0 if there is a plagiarism. Okay, and again, overall grade, 60% weightage will be given to the assignments, and 40% weightage will be given to the tests. Okay. So the course conduction. So like you understand, so this Moodle team is the primary contact point. So all discussions and announcements will be done on Teams. So we will use the team messaging to do discussions and announcements, and we will also encourage you to do all discussions and announcements on team. Okay, and of course you have to join the Teams meeting during the class time, so that in order to clarify any doubts or any questions, or any discussion also. So sometimes we will also reply to the discussions. So any questions that you ask on the team, on the team chat channel. Okay, so that is the best way to ask questions, either to us or to TAs. Yeah, so you should not ask questions on email, by email. Okay, so it is almost impossible for us to reply individually to emails, as you can understand. And so best way to ask questions in an offline manner when you are not in class is to post it in a Teams chat. Okay, and then somebody, either one of the teachers or one of the TAs, or sometimes even one of your friends, they may answer. Okay, so this is about the Teams. Okay. Additionally, you have to join Moodle. So I hope all of you have joined Moodle. In the morning, Professor PPD has already shown the Moodle groups and the joining code. Okay. So if not, we can paste it in the chat here. Okay. So yeah, so all of you have to join the Moodle, and your assignments and quizzes will be held on Moodle. Okay. So for assignments, the submission has to be made on Moodle before the deadline. Okay, and then for each, so what we will do is we will form groups of 2 students, and that group list of groups will also be shared with you during I'm hoping by today itself. And then for each assignment, TA will be assigned to each group of students. Okay, and that particular TA will be responsible for helping and grading with that particular assignment for the students of that particular group. Okay, so this is how it will work. So once you see the assignment of TAs to groups, it will become clear. Okay, and class test will, as mentioned, will be conducted on Moodle online. Okay, any questions? Up till now? Anybody? Okay, so so no questions. Okay, so are all of you able to see the assignment on Moodle?
Yes, sir, we can see the assignment.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we can see now.
So you can see the assignment on the screen, but you should also be able to see the assignment on Moodle. Are you? I hope you are able to see the assignment on Moodle. So this is your task for today. Okay. So it's a very simple. So this is the first assignment. So it's a very simple programming assignment. But the catch here is that this programming assignment you have to do in Java. Okay. So that is the thing you have to do. So I just want to so a raise of hands. Okay, so how many of you know Java already? Can you please raise your hands? I am seeing 8 hands. Okay. So okay, what I will do, so let me just switch off my video. Oh, sorry. Let me just switch off the video and okay. Okay, so what I will do, first let me describe the assignment. Okay, and then hopefully we can have a discussion. Okay, so what is the assignment? Okay, so the assignment is the this is this is like a, you can think of this as a very small software engineering project that we have given you. This is really a small project. I mean, it's the smallest software engineering project that you can possibly have, I guess. Okay, so what is the task of this project? So you are given this scenario. Sorry. So you are given this scenario. Okay, so in an online medicine, not social network, but medicine shop. So you have an online medicine shop, okay, where you have the following relevant entities. Okay, so you have the manufacturer, you have the customer, you have the product, you have the shops, or warehouses in different locations. Okay, and you have the delivery agent. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to prepare a software. Okay, there is an echo, so please switch off. Okay, so you have to prepare a software, or you have to develop a software which achieves certain functionalities. Okay, now here I have described what are the different quantities or different things about the different entities that you need to store, and at an suitable time you may need to access and process it. Okay, so first of all the above entities must have a unique ID, which is an integer. Okay, and they should have a name which is of type string. So for those of you who don't know, so unlike C, so most of you know C. So unlike C, in Java, you have an explicit string type, okay, which is part of the standard Java library. Okay. Okay, and okay, so actually this joining date is not relevant. Okay, so you should have only these. Okay, so each entity has a unique ID and a name, okay, which is the string. Now this is common to all entities. Okay, now additionally, manufacturer, okay, which is one of the types of entities, okay, has a set of products which it can manufacture. Okay, so it should have a set of products. Okay, now each product has a manufacturer, that is, each product has one manufacturer who can manufacture this product. Okay, then customers have a zip code, again, which is an integer. Okay, and a list of purchased products, okay, which eventually they would have purchased at some point in time. Okay, which initially is empty. So the list of purchased product initially is empty. Okay, then shops and warehouses have a zip code, okay, which is again an integer. Okay, an inventory of the number of available copies of all products. So each products, okay. And I have given you some hint here, list of Java tuples. Okay, so you should sort of decide. So part of your job is to decide how to implement this in Java. Okay. So so that is what you will be doing. Okay, and then a delivery agent has a zip code and the number of products which this particular delivery agent has delivered. So this is again an integer. Okay, and this is initially 0, the number of products that a delivery agent has delivered. Okay. So you have to design a Java program. Okay. So even though I have not, or you have not currently learned what object-oriented paradigm is, okay, I will try to give you a very like high level, so very sort of operational kind of overview about what the object-oriented paradigm is. Not so you will learn it over the learn it in the context of C++ in the theory class over the next 3 to 4 weeks. But a very high level view I will give you, and it is not that you have to strictly follow an object-oriented paradigm, but as much as possible, try to implement the program following a object-oriented paradigm. Okay, so it's like your first. I mean, for those of you who are not already highly familiar with object-oriented programming, like a first stab at designing a object-oriented program, a simple object-oriented program. Okay. Now, what are the functionalities that your program should achieve? Okay. So firstly, your program should be able to create, delete, and print entities of each type, each type of entity. Okay. For deleting, you should print all the entities of a particular type and then provide an option to choose one. Okay. This is one of the functionalities that you should provide. Then another functionality that you should provide is you should add a product. So the functionality should be, the user of the functionality should be able to add a product to a manufacturer. Okay. The user should be able to add a certain number of copies of product to a shop. Okay. And then the user should be able to add an order of a product from a customer. Okay. So it's as though a customer has ordered a product. So that situation should be created. Then there should be a functionality which should allow processing an order. So what is processing an order? So processing an order means basically once an order is made, so you have to look at the order and you have to see whether the order can be satisfied. So the order can only be satisfied if a product is available at a shop in the customer's zip code. Okay, so there may be multiple shops in the customer's zip code. Okay, if none of those shops have the product, then you will say the order cannot be satisfied and you will decline the order. Okay, so the processing of the order will be declined. Okay, if the order is processed, if it is accepted, then you have to select a shop. You can just select randomly a shop from the customer zip code and deliver it. But you have to assign a delivery agent who has delivered the least number of products. Okay, so the delivery agent who has, so it's to give a fair chance to all the delivery agents. So the delivery agent who is in the current zip code and has delivered the least number of products should be assigned this task, and that delivery agent should make the delivery. Now all of this should get updated in all the relevant places. So for the customer data should be updated, the shop's data should be updated, the delivery agent's data should be updated, and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. Then you should be able to list all the purchases made by a customer. Okay. The user should be able to list inventory of a shop. Okay. Again, in a suitable format. Okay, and you should be able to list products made by a manufacturer. Okay, and all of this should be accessible via a master text-based interface. Okay, I think you have done a lot of these kind of programmings in your first year PDS. Okay, so you should create a similar text-based interface, which will allow the user to access these kinds of functionalities. Okay. So that is all for this particular assignment. So it's a pretty simple assignment. So any questions or doubts?
Sir, this does not require any kind of front end.
It requires only a text-based interface. Okay, so text-based, basically a console-based interface. So so you can show a list of options. Okay, and the user can choose one of the options. So how you create that option hierarchy is also something that you should be able to design a good. I mean, it should not be that the first menu itself it gives like all the options. Let's say create a manufacturer, create a customer, create a delivery agent. Not like that. Maybe you can provide 2-level menu or something like this. Okay, but
in the console, right? Everything is console based.
Yes, console.
Okay.
Sir, aesthetics means like the coding style and indentation and all.
Okay, so aesthetics in this particular case is basically the aesthetics of the interface. Okay, so yeah, so let me come to the grading guidelines here. Okay, so once you implement this program, your assigned TA will check this with you. Okay, and this is a broad guideline given to the TA that 70% of the marks should be based on percentage of the features implemented. 10% of the marks should be on aesthetics. Okay, so the formatting of the code, good or bad, should be covered within this 70% situation, 70% weightage. Okay, and whether you are able to reasonably answer the questions or not. So so the TA may ask you some question as to why you have implemented in a particular way. Okay, a particular feature. Okay, and if you are able to answer that question correctly, you get this marks. Okay, so so this is just to check that first of all that you have actually understood the underlying design. Okay, and also yeah, so that is the main idea, and also that you have written the program yourself. Okay, so any questions?
Can you explain the last part of the objectives of the assignment? Yeah, master text-based interface. I didn't get that part.
Okay. So see, your program has to have the following functionalities, right? So there are many functionalities, 8 functionalities. So yeah, you can create, delete, print entities. You can add a product to a manufacturer, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now these are so how will you provide these functionalities? Can someone tell? So when I say you should implement a program which provides these functionalities, what does that mean? How does a program provide a functionality? Can anybody tell? So when you use
it contains certain set of commands such that when you give some particular input, it will invoke some particular function accordingly.
Right. So basically, there are many ways of doing it, right? So most common nowadays, obviously, is GUI, where there are set of buttons and menus and text boxes and things like that, which allow you to give certain commands or give certain inputs to the program, and the corresponding output is displayed, right? Now, we are not asking you to do that right here in the first assignment. OK. What is the other way? Another way is there are very complex programs. For example, like a compiler, OK, a C compiler. So what does the C compiler do? It takes certain files as input, or even most of the compilers, they take a file as input, and the file contains commands in a certain format, okay, using a certain syntax, and the program provides functionalities by parsing these commands, and so the user writes the commands in a certain way, okay, and the program or the software which is serving the user parses these commands from the users and then provides the functionality. So this is the second way. Okay, these are the two ways. Now there is a third way, which is that you have so this is the simpler way, and this is also the simplest to implement. Okay, which is that you don't have a GUI interface, or you don't have a like a syntax based interface. Rather, you can say options based interface. Okay, so wherein using a console, using a so I hope all of you understand what is a console. I mean, so this you must understand. So using the console, on the console, the program will first display a set of options to the user of the program. Okay, and then the user will choose one of the options, and depending on the option that has been chosen, the program may show a few more options, or it may perform some task. It may show some information. It may update some data, etc. Okay, so that is what is meant by a master text-based interface. So all the functionalities that we are talking about here from 1 to 8, these functionalities will be accessed via this text-based interface. So you have to implement this text-based interface also. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it.
Okay. So that is the purpose of this assignment. Okay. Okay. So now, are there any other questions?
Sir, what is the deadline?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, so we will discuss the deadline at the end of the class. Okay, so typically it's a 1 week deadline. Okay, so before next Wednesday, you have to submit the assignment. Yes.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, currently, like me along with many other friends from CS department are in quarantine. So will it be possible to extend the deadline a bit longer for us? Because there is a lot of internet issue in SAM Hall.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I said let's take the deadline thing to end. Okay, so deadline discussion, let us have it in the end of the class. Okay, so I'm sure it is possible, but first let us finish the technical discussion.
Also, sir, can you please repeat that basic logistics about this lab, because I missed in the beginning part and also the today morning's classes.
Okay. So one thing I will do is I will so two things are happening. One is the meeting is being recorded, okay, and the recordings will be made available. Class recordings will be made available either through YouTube or through the Teams itself. I think we will upload it to the Teams itself. Okay. This is one thing. Other thing is that all the slides will be uploaded to the web page and to Moodle. Okay, so you can access the slides, in either of these places. Okay. Actually, for the lab portion, I think we will upload the slides only to Moodle. You can access it at Moodle. Okay, so let us, so let us just go a little bit. So again, I think you already know, you have learned at least one programming language which is C. And while learning, you know that basically learning a programming language is more of a practice, right? So obviously I'm not here to teach you Java. So what I will just do is I will give you like some very quick pointers to sort of get you started. And then, I mean, the focus is more on program design rather than, explaining and discussing each and every feature of Java. Okay. Okay. So let me start with the design. Okay. Okay. So let us see. Okay. So what is the Java programming language? Okay. So following are some of the buzzwords around the Java programming language. So one of the main advantages of Java. So if you see Java, Java is, I think, one of the top 3 programming languages which is used by people. Okay, so there are you can see like there are various agencies which publish the popularity of different programming languages, and you will see that C, C++, Java, and Python will sort of come in the top 3, I think. I mean, mostly. Okay, for the general purpose programming. Okay. Yeah. So question is, why is Java so popular? Okay, and so one of the reasons is that or one of the main advantages of Java is that it is it is to a large extent it is platform independent. So what do we mean by that? So when you write a Java program in one machine, okay, and you sort of test the write the program and then run it and then test its functionality. Okay, as you might know, the Java programs actually run within a virtual machine. Okay, so they are interpreted by what is called a Java virtual machine. Okay, now these virtual machines are implemented on many different platforms. For example, your mobile phone may run a Java virtual machine. Your tablet may run a Java virtual machine. The different devices in a car or in a TV or in a fridge may run some Java virtual machine, and so on and so forth. Okay, so one of the main advantages of Java is that it will show more or less uniform behavior on each of these devices. Okay, so that is the write once and run anywhere. Okay. Then simple is that programming in Java is relatively simple. So in fact, if you know C programming, as you shall see, it is very easy to learn Java programming. The third word which we have used, which is again used in the context of Java, is object oriented. So Java supports object oriented programming. Okay, so it supports procedural programming, but it also supports object oriented programming. Okay, then Java also has special support for distributed and multi-threaded programs. Okay. Yeah. So so it is architecture neutral. It is portable. Okay. High performance, robust, secure. Okay. These are some of the other keywords. So these are some of the settings where Java programming is used, or Java programming language is used. So these are some of the reasons why Java programming language is popular. Okay. Okay, so what is the structure of a Java program? So this is the basic structure of the of a Java program. Okay, so the key idea here is that as you shall see, so for those of you who don't know, you will see it in much greater detail. There is this concept called class. Okay. Which is that which has come which was used in C++, and that has also been taken in Java, which basically defines a data like a type of an object. Okay, so in Java the whole program is within a class. Okay, so this is the basic idea of a Java program. Any Java program, there can be multiple classes, but a whole Java program is within a class. Okay, and the starting point of execution. So there is either one class or a bunch of classes which constitute a Java program. Okay, which will be executed in a Java virtual machine. Okay. Now the starting point of each Java program is this main method. Okay. And there's a reason why it is a public static void and main. Okay. So here the keyword public means that this this main is a method of this class hello world. So the name of the class is hello world. Okay, main is a method inside this class hello world, and this main method is visible from outside the class. So this has to be visible from outside the class. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, then this main method is static, which means that in order to execute this main method, you do not have to create an object of type hello world. Even without creating an object of type hello world, you can basically execute this main method. So this is what the keyword static here means. Okay, and then the keyword void means that the function main. Okay, so you can think of this method as a function. So methods in Java are very similar to functions in C. Okay, so in your mind you can think that this main is a function. Okay, so this function returns the return type of the function is void. Okay, and its input is an array of strings. So as I mentioned, that Java has a type which denotes a string, unlike C, which has a character type. So Java also has a character type, but it also has, through its standard library, it has a type string, which is a string of characters. And then what it takes as input is an array of strings. Okay. And then in this particular case, it is using system library. Okay. So you know, the system library is sort of, it can be accessed through this system dot. So out is a sort of a, you can say a output stream type object. Okay, these are classes, or these are you know, these classes are defined in the Java standard library. And for example, this system.out object is used to print to the terminal. Okay. So, so I think system.in and system.out, these are two standard objects which you can use to read and read from the terminal and write to the terminal. Okay. And then println basically writes, it takes as input a string. So this println is a method of this object, which basically takes as input a string and then it writes it onto the terminal. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So okay. So again, how can you develop Java programs? So so for those of you who don't know, very easy way. So you can of course write Java programs in any text editor. Okay. But a very easy way of developing Java programs is to use the Eclipse IDE, which is an open source IDE. Okay. IDE is an integrated development environment. Okay. So, and then there you can create a new project. Okay. So your IDE interface looks something like this. Okay. And then you can create a new Java file and then you can start writing your program here. Okay. And hit the run button and then output will appear somewhere here. Okay. Okay, so so just like C, Java also has some primitive data types, and these are the primitive data types. So byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, and character. Okay, so you can understand. Okay, so many things are like C. Okay, and you also just like C, you have arrays, but in Java, arrays are also a class. Okay. So, so for example, you can define an array like this. So long A and then open square bracket and end square bracket. And then you can allocate memory for this array using this new operator, which is similar to the malloc operator that you have seen. Okay. And so you can write something like new long 5. Okay. And you can get the length by using the length field of an array object. So, so suppose you have an array variable A, okay, then A dot length will give you 5 here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, and string class is also very commonly used. So so you can, yeah, so it basically represents a character string. Okay. And so, so for example, you can define strings like this. So string S1 is equal to within double quotes hello, and then S2 is equal to world. Okay. And then you can also do things like string S3 is equal to S1 plus S2. So here this plus operator is overloaded. Okay, so we will hear this overloading thing a lot. Okay, but so just for the sake of understanding, what happens here is that it concatenates the strings S1 and S2. So in your C programming, you would have seen the function concat. Okay. So here this plus operator is essentially doing the same. So it is taking as input two strings S1 and S2 and then creating a third string. So it doesn't modify S1 and S2, but it creates a third string S3, which is a concatenated version of S1 and S2. So in this case, it will have the string hello world and then exclamation. Okay. Okay. And then there are operators which are same as C, C++. So you have the auto increment operators, you have the unary operators, you have the multiplication division operators, then you have the modulus operators. And then you have the addition and subtraction operators. Okay. Okay, and again, so I have told you that types of variables. You can declare and define the variables in pretty much the same fashion as you can do it in C. Okay, so so the first, so here you are declaring an integer, here you are declaring a character, string you have already seen. So here you are using a capital L. Okay, so you have a type long, which is small l. Okay, so if you see here, this type long is small l is a basic type. So for declaring a basic type, you don't have to use new, but actually for every basic type, you also have a class. Okay, so basically you can think of this as a user defined type. So this long with a capital L is a user defined type, and here you are basically using the new operator to sort of allocate memory for long. Yeah, so what you are doing here is basically you are creating a reference for long, an object of type long. Okay, and then you are allocating memory for the same. So a crucial thing to note is that Java does not have pointers. Okay, so this is a crucial difference between C and C++, C++ and Java, that Java does not have pointer type. Okay. Okay.
So sir, is L an array here?
So L is not an array. It is an object. So it points. So the way to think about it is so in Java parlance, the correct way to say is that L is a reference which refers to, or loosely you can say points to, an object of type long. Okay, so I mean, so this long is a class. Okay, here. Okay, and this class, as you, I mean, every class defines a user defined type. Okay, so every time you define a class, you also define a type. So for example, long is a type. Here employee is a type. Okay, so you can define types like this in Java. So this is one of the features which must be supported in order to support object-oriented programming. I mean, even in this is useful even in procedural programming, as you would have seen in C. There are you can define structures and then you can do type def. Okay, but here in Java, you use classes to class to define new types, and then you can instantiate objects of those types using this new operator. Okay. I hope that answers.
1 lakh is the value of L, or is the value of the point to which the L points?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Sir, here you wrote long L equal to new long of 1 lakh.
Yes.
So what is L pointing to? Is it pointing to an object for which the value is 1 lakh?
Okay. Yes. So it is pointing to an object for which the value is 1 lakh. Okay. So this object stores the value 1 lakh here. Okay. Okay, I understand the confusion. So actually I'm not getting into it. So what happens is actually this long has a constructor which is called, and the constructor takes in a value. Okay, so in this case, this 1 lakh is of type int. Okay, or maybe of type long. Okay, and then this 1 lakh is converted to the type capital LONG. So let us say that this 1 lakh is a literal of type int. Okay, if that is the case, this will be taken as an input to the constructor of the long type, which will convert it to the type capital long. So this is what is happening in this particular statement.
So sir, what is the size of this data type?
Right. So the size of this depends on the architecture, of course, but typically this is I think two word lengths. So I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think so if you are on a 64-bit machine, then it will be 128-bit.
Okay, sir.
I'm not 100% sure on this though. I mean, I have to check the size, but yeah, typically this is the case.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Can you just once again explain what that long L is equal to line does? Means what is L and what happens by writing just this?
Right. Let me just see. So yeah. So actually, what I have not told here is so in Java. So let me come to here first. Okay. So Java allows you to define new types. Okay, using this keyword class. Okay. So the keyword class. So for example, you can write something like class. So somewhere somebody has written class long, and then there are some variables inside that. Okay. So there is a data type which is defined. So which is of type long. Okay. In this statement, so this is already done in the library. Clear? So this is already done in the library. Okay, so you don't have to bother about that. In this statement, what you are doing, you are first defining, so you are basically defining a new object of type long. Okay, so the type has already been defined using a class in the library. Okay, you know that this type stores a long integer. Okay, clear? And now this particular statement, so the right hand side new long 1 lakh is defining an object of type long. Okay, and then this equal to is assigning, so the left hand side is actually declaring a reference whose name is L. So it's a variable, the name of the variable is L. Okay. Okay. And now this L is so this L refers to this particular object which has now been created. Okay. So this L is a reference to this object that has been created. Is it clear what is happening here?
Sir?
Yes.
So can we say like L is like an instance of the object long, which is getting the input of 1 lakh?
Yes, yes, exactly. So it is an it is an instance of type long. So that is another way of saying the same thing. That it is an instance of type long, okay, which stores the value 1 lakh.
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay. Okay. So so similarly, yeah, you can have Boolean false. You can have yeah. So you can use different keywords like final. So final basically means that so this will not change. So the value of pi will not change after this. Okay, that is what final means. Okay, so the value of pi is exactly this. Okay, then this statement is again it's defining an instance of type employee. Okay, so it's creating a new employee. Okay, that is how it's defining an object or an instance of type employee. Okay, and then it is assigning that instance to Joe. So Joe in Java, so what you do is for all objects, your variables actually store the reference to that object. Okay, so this Joe is actually a reference to this instance or this object of type employee. Okay. Here again, you are defining a character array. Okay, and here the size of the array is 3. Okay, so when you are defining the array, you see the size of the array is given in square brackets. Okay, whereas when you are defining a single object, the input to its constructor is given within round brackets basically. Okay. And yeah, so again, this is defining a new vector. Okay. Okay, I think this is clear. Yeah. So this we have discussed. I have told. So Java has no pointers. It doesn't have type def. It doesn't have preprocessor. Okay. Doesn't have structures, unions. It doesn't have multiple inheritance. Okay, we'll come to what this thing is. Yeah, so it doesn't have goToMalloc and it doesn't have operator overloading. Okay, so operator overloading is something that you have in C++, and multiple inheritance is also something that you have in C++, which is not there in Java. Okay. Okay, so let us take this particular example. Okay, so this is an example where you are sort of defining a class. Okay, okay, so here you are defining a class. So remember, we have already discussed that a class is a user defined data type. Okay, so here you are defining a class of type person. Okay. So that is the name of the class. Okay, so when you try to define an object of type person, you will say person, let's say P equal to new person. Okay, so this is how you would define. So this is what we were discussing here. Okay. Okay. Now, what does a person have here? So person has a string called name, which is declared as private. So these are called members. Okay, or in this case also fields. Okay, so both, so it has a name of type string and it has age, which is of type int. Okay, now the members of this type, if they're declared to be private, okay, they are not accessible to methods outside the class. Okay, so here, for example, no method out. So for example, there is a method. Yeah. So actually, in this case, this method is also inside the class, the void main. But consider a situation where this person class is different from the class which contains the public static void main. Okay, so in that case, even if main has a reference to person, it will not be directly able to say p.name. Okay, so if it does p.name, it will throw an error because it does not have access to that particular method. So this is what private means. Okay. Now, these are the fields. So first you declare the fields. Okay. Then you define the constructor. So this is a constructor of the person. Okay. So constructor is a method or a function which is invoked when the class is created. Okay. So in this case, this particular constructor and there is a particular keyword which is being used, which is the this keyword. Okay, so this refers to the current object. Okay, so this is a reference to the current object in Java. Okay. Okay, so this dot name. So basically, when this particular constructor gets created, okay, so this dot name will refer to the name of the current object which is being created. Okay, which has been constructed. Okay, and the name field of that particular object is sort of initialized as unknown person. Okay, so this is the initialization, and this dot age is initialized to 0. So that is what the constructor is doing. Okay, then there is a member function or a method. Okay, which basically which creates which returns the name. So the name of this function is getName, and it just returns the name. So this is also sometimes called accessor methods. Okay, so because name is not accessible normally. Okay, so there's a function which basically gives the name, which returns the name. So and this function is public. So any other class, any other method of another class can basically access this get name and get age methods of the person class. Okay. Okay. And then of course you have seen the main. So in this case, you have a main method inside the person class itself. Okay. And basically the main method creates a new person, new object of type person. Okay. And then it gets the name of the person and then it prints that. So basically it will print unknown person in this particular case. Okay. Okay, now I will just
add main class.
Yes, please go ahead.
Is it necessary to have the main function inside the main class, the person class every time?
Okay, that's a very good question. Yeah, so main method has to be inside some class. This is what I told here. Okay. See, the entire program, everything is in a class. Okay. So entire program. So consider this program hello world. Okay. So this main method has to be inside some class because in Java, every program is a class. Okay. So you have to understand this. Okay. So so yes, it is necessary to be inside some class. Okay. It need not be inside this person class. So there could be another class which is defined in the same file. Okay. And main could be inside that class also. Okay. Still it will do the same thing. Okay. But then the name of the program has to be the name of that particular class. So in that case, in a sense, that class will become the main class. So there is, yeah. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if we have multiple classes, do we need to write multiple main functions for each?
No. So that is what. So you can think of the main function as the entry point to the program. Okay. So whichever class has the main function is called the main class. So basically that is the place where execution of the program will start. After that, the different classes will be created. Different objects will be created. So not classes, different objects will be created, and then the different executions will go on. Okay. Typically, in every program, there is only one class with the main. Okay, other classes are there to sort of to basically define the types and also the execution and objects and these kind of things. Clear?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so now there is also, so again, I'm just telling this at a very high level. Okay, so there is this concept of inheritance in Java and in also C++. So many object-oriented programming languages. So we'll go into detail during the theory class, but essentially the idea here is that one of the main ideas behind object-oriented programming is that so there should be so the language should offer facilities to reuse the code. Okay, and basically how does code get reused? So the code get reused by using abstraction of classes. So this is the key idea behind the object-oriented programming. So let's take a concrete example to demonstrate this. So there are two concrete types of animals. Okay, one is a cat and one is a dog. Okay, and you may want to create different instances of cats and different instances or objects of type dog. Okay, now so this but both cat and dog have two common attributes. Okay, one is this age. Okay, so they have a common attribute, which is the age attribute. Okay, which is given here, and they also have a common method, which is the move method. Okay, so these are the methods which are abstracted out in another class, which is the animal class. Okay, and then both dog and cat, they extend the animal class. So whenever a class extends another class, okay, this is basically what is called inheritance. Okay, so it inherits the fields and the methods of the parent class. So in this case, the animal class is a parent class of cat and dog. Okay, both cat and dog. So cat's parent is also animal, dog's parent is also animal, and both of these classes, they inherit the methods and the attributes of their parent class. Additionally, they can have their own class, their own methods and attributes. So for example, in this case, cat has a method meow, whereas dog has a method bark. Okay, so this is the key idea behind inheritance. So okay, and in fact, the entire Java standard library and also many other Java libraries, okay, they define a hierarchy of classes and sometimes also objects. Okay, and this hierarchy is so this hierarchy has a common root, which is a class of type object, and then every class is a subclass of object in Java. Okay, so this is how the hierarchy looks. Okay. Okay, and yeah, so basically this is how you can use the different library, different types defined in the either standard Java library or any other Java library. Okay. Okay. I think I will skip the interface and the multiple inheritance part. Okay, so here is, for example, here is a concrete example of a class. So array list is a class which is which is basically given. So it's kind of a extendable array which is given as a part of the Java Java class hierarchy or the Java library. Okay. Now you can see the how it is inherited. Okay, so there is the java.lang.object. Okay, which is the parent of all classes, and then at least in the Java library, all classes have this class as the parent. Okay, and then you have the abstract collection, which basically extends this. Okay, and then you have abstract lists, which extends the abstract collection, and then you have the array list, which is extending the abstract list. Okay, so this is how the object hierarchies are created in Java. Okay. Okay, so so you have to solve the problem that is given to you in Java. Okay, so I have just taken a very simple example problem. Okay, to sort of get you initiated on how to how to design, how you could possibly design a set of classes and basically design an object-oriented program in a Java. So the problem is the following. So suppose you have a set of acquaintances. Okay, and your acquaintances can be of type personal friends and professional friends. Okay, so for all acquaintances, you need to store the name, mobile number, and email. Okay. Now, additionally, for personal friends, you will need to store their birthday, and for professional friends, you want to store the common professional interests. Okay. So you have to design a program that would achieve the following functionality. So it will create and delete various types of acquaintances, and it will display a list of acquaintances. Okay, so so how will you go about doing it? Okay, so again, there can be many different solutions. So I'm just showing you one solution. Okay. Okay, so basically in this solution, you have two classes. One is the main class, which I'm calling here contact list, and it has the main function. Okay, and basically the main function is using like a class that I have defined, which is the friend class. Okay, and basically it is using a list of friends, which is FL. Okay, and you are basically initializing it to size 5. Okay. Okay, and then you are just initializing object of type scanner, which will be used to read input. Okay, so basically you can use the scanner object to read input using the next line command. Okay, so if you read input using the next line command, okay, it will give you a string containing the input entered by the user. Okay. Okay, now Now, before I go into this, so this logic is pretty simple. So, the program will run in an infinite loop until somebody types quit. Okay, so until if it receives quit as an input, it will exit. Otherwise, it will keep running in an infinite loop. Okay, and then every time it will ask you to create a friend. Okay. I mean, every input that you give, it will create a friend with this input string. So let us see how the create friend method works. Okay. So before I go to how the create friend method works, let me just try to say, so this is how your friend class is looking. So remember, friend has a name, a mobile number, and an email ID. Okay. Now, I also have and then I have certain methods here. Okay. So for example, I have a constructor which takes in a scanner object. Okay. And then yeah, so basically it populates the names of the name, mobile number, and email ID using this scanner object. Okay, so this scanner object is basically what is you are using to get the input. Okay, and then you also have this print object which is a method, which is a member method of friend. Okay, which basically prints the name, mobile number, and email address of this particular friend. So these are the fields of the friend class. Okay, now you have a derived class called personal friend from the friend class, which additionally has birthday. Okay, and it is taking again the scanner object. Okay, and then it is calling this super. So super is basically calling the constructor of the friend. So in this case, the friend is the super class of personal friend class. Okay, so first it is taking input of all the common attributes, which are basically name, mobile number, and email ID. Okay, and then it is taking input the birthday from the scanner object myobj. Okay, and similarly, it is also, when it is printing, it is calling super.print obj. Okay, so super again basically refers to the the super class. Okay, so it calls the print obj method of the super class, followed by it prints the birthday also. And similarly, professional friend. Okay. Okay. So this is how. So basically, what is the advantage of creating a hierarchy like this? You don't have to duplicate reading of this name, mobile number, and email ID. And also, you don't have to duplicate printing of this. You can simply use this particular piece of code. Okay. Okay. So now you come here. So yes. Any questions?
So is that scanner class predefined in Java?
Yes, the scanner class is predefined in Java. Yes. So you see that. Yeah. So the scanner class is predefined in Java.
So can we overload functions in Java?
No. So functions, function overloading is not. Yes, you can overload functions in Java. Yes, you can overload functions in Java. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we will come to that. So so today we will not discuss that. So anyway, so I think this is now clear that so here you are calling this static function. So this is another thing I just wanted to tell that so you can create an so we are creating another static function here because we are not defining any object of contact list type. So we are creating another static function which we are simply calling here. Okay, so the way so and then this static function is basically this so this create friend is actually asking for the type of the friend. Okay, and if the type equals personal, then it is creating a new personal friend. Otherwise, it's creating a new professional friend. Okay. So this is how the create friend function is.
Sir, I had a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, you said that there is no operator overloading in Java, right?
Yes, yes.
Then, sir, how is string concatenation working with plus sign?
So yes, good. So so these are so these are already done. Okay, so let me put it this way that the user cannot overload operators in Java, but this is a so in the context of string, this overloaded this plus has been overloaded. So you can think of it as a as a language feature for Java that especially in the context of string, the plus has been overloaded to denote concatenation.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in the code you have written somewhere this dot name, and in others you have just mentioned name.
Yes.
So,
yeah, so let me just say, so both are same. Okay, so if you are accessing from yeah, so if you are, so for example, here I have used name. Okay, I could have also used this dot name here. Okay, they will refer to the same. So so when you are using variable in the member function, okay, so here the member function is print obj. Okay, it will automatically, so if there is no other name variable, so let's call it mobile, let's look at mobile number. So if there is no variable called mobile number in this context, okay, which is inside this function, you have not defined a variable called mobile number, okay, then it will refer to the mobile number of this particular object. Clear? So if you have a local mobile number, then you need to, or local variable called name, then you need to use this dot name. Otherwise, you need not use this dot name.
So can you repeat what do you mean when you write static before a function?
Sorry, come again.
So what do you mean when you write static before a function? Can you repeat that?
When you write static before a function.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, when you so when you write static before a function, what happens is you can call this function without referring to an object. So see, this is a member function. So just like main, this is a member function of the class contact list. Okay. Create friend or main is a member function of the class contact list. Okay. So, but you are not creating any object of type contact list, or you're not creating any instance of this class, right? Okay, yes. But still you are able to access. So inside, since you are inside contact list here, you are able to access this just by saying create friend here. Okay, so here, yeah. Otherwise, suppose you are outside the contact list class, you can simply say contact list dot create friend, and you will be able to access. So class name dot the method. Okay, so for a static method, you can access it simply by using the class name. Or if you are inside the class, inside a inside a member function of the class, okay, then you can simply use the so this is like another member in the same class. So you can just say create friend and it will work.
So don't it make difference by putting or not putting public? Like for the main you put public static void.
Yes, yes. If I don't put public, by default it is private. Sorry, in Java, I think by default it is public, so that is fine. But if I, let's say, instead of if I made private static friend create friend, okay? Suppose I did it like this, then I cannot access it outside contact list.
Okay.
But this one will work. So this one will work because I'm accessing it inside contact list, inside a member function of contact list. Okay. Okay, so I hope I was able to give you an example of, you know, so this is one design. There are many things you could have. Yeah, so maybe in the interest of time, we will not go into further discussion on this program. So do you guys have any? Okay, I'm not able to. Okay, so so do you have any questions or comments? So based on the discussion, you can try to design the program for the assignment and write it, right? So yeah, so any doubts or any comments regarding that?
Sir, will whole of the lab will be done in Java, or would we change in between also?
Yes, so actually I did not give you an overview of that. So let me just give you a overview of that. So the key idea there is that the first so the first assignment will be in Java. So what we will cover in this lab is basically so the initial portion in the theory course you will be learning C++. Okay, so in the lab you will be learning to implement reasonably complex programs in first Java, okay, then in C++, and then we will focus a lot on Python. Okay, so in Python you will be learning of course to write object-oriented programs, but also you will be learning to write programs with GUI, okay, and also with programs related to you know, data science, machine learning kind of programs. Okay, so these are kind of the choices that we made. I mean, you know, based on like these are some of the things which are, you know, many students or many students want to do. They want to do I mean, GUI programming is obviously a very significant component, and also data science or machine learning kind of programs. Okay, so these are the two things we will be doing. So your assignments will be on, the first one is on Java, which we gave. Okay, second one will be on C++. Okay, The third assignment and fourth assignment will be on Python in the lab. Okay. So this is how your first 4 assignments will go. After this, we will have a project, okay, software engineering development project, which we will discuss the logistics of that in one of the subsequent lab classes.
Also, Shravansh, tell about the tests. There will be 3 tests.
There will be 3 tests, yes. So like I told, there will be 3 tests, and the date of the tests are already mentioned in the theory class. Let me just bring up that thing. Okay. I hope. Okay. Let me just bring up the dates. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So this is the course website, by the way. Yeah. So the dates of the tests are 2nd February, 23rd February, and 13th April. Okay, so we will have joint theory and lab tests, and it will be held in the lab slot.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, regarding the project which we have to do at the end, can that be any language other than what we learn here, like Java, Python, C, C++?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So that is the idea, that in the project, you can choose the language and the platform that you please.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, and everything from scratch?
What do you mean everything from scratch?
I mean, nothing like no kinds of helping libraries or something like that.
Oh, no. So this discussion we will have in the context of the project. That is better. So what we will do is actually we will float a list of projects. Okay. And then you have to form some groups. So we will form some groups for the project, only for the project. Okay. Not for the assignments. Assignments are individual. Okay. And then what we will do is, so what will happen is you will be asked to choose. I mean, there will be a certain mechanism by which we will allocate the projects. Okay. I mean, you have to make your choice, and then based on your interest, and then we will try to. So we will not give one project to too many different groups. So one project will be given to, I think, maximum 2 or 3 groups, not more than that. Yeah. So and then depending on the project, then and for each project there will be a mentor. Okay. So one of the TAs will be a mentor. So you can either discuss with your mentor or you can discuss with us. And then basically you are free to choose any platform, and there there will be 3 stages actually. So first you have to define the project specifications. Okay, so as a part of the theory course, by that time you will learn how to write specification documents, how to understanding of specifications and all these things. Okay, so first you have to create the specifications, then you have to implement the specifications. Okay, and then you have to implement the different testing, the testing frameworks also. So yeah, we'll come to that when we come to that. At this stage, it's a little difficult to describe. I hope that at least partly answers your question.
One thing I think we need to do is give them the student enrollment key for the Moodle enrollment. And the thing is the grouping information. So grouping information is inside Teams. Should we show that?
Yeah, I can just I can stop sharing and you can. Do you want to show that?
Group. I'm in the TA group. Yeah, let me then describe that. Yeah. Let me open the that document first from Teams. Here. Yes, let me share them. Yeah. Yeah, you can see my screen, right? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah. So the channel, is or rather a team, Software Engineering Lab 2022. If you go to files, there is a class logistics folder. Okay. There you will find a document called groups and TA assignments. So this group is a little different from your project groups that will come later. This is just to basically conduct the class in a little easy manner and also in a fair manner. So let me try to describe this first, and then if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, so first thing is that this does not include one additional student, which I think registered late, who is from I think 19 CS. So that I will add at the end. So he will be actually in this group, but that I'll come later. So what this tells, I mean, first ignore these parts, these assignments, etc. Now, what this means is that these students 1 to 26, their in-class TA is Karnam Tejander. So what does it mean by in-class TA? In-class TA means you will see that, or you probably, sorry, what it is, must have seen it. Okay, how can I? Yeah, here, calendar. So yeah, so you can see that there are different rooms. So professor room, and then group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. So group 1 is Karanam, right? So let us go again to that folder. Yeah, file rather. Yeah, so group 1 is it will be managed by Karnam. What does it mean by that? After you are done with the initial part of the lab, where you will be say given some ideas about, I mean, just like today, that you will be introduced to the logistics. If there is some logistics related announcements, that will be done. Then just explaining the assignment, if there is some short lecture we need to take to get you started, that will be done. Then you will head towards this group of students 1 to 26. They will head towards this room, that is Karanam, and they will try to do their assignments and so on, right? Similar for the other groups. So these group informations, you know where to get it from. So inside Teams there is class logistics inside that folder, right? Now what does this mean? That okay, assignment 1, assignment 2. So this assignment 1, so assignment 0 will be checked by the in-class TA for these groups. So from this 19 CS10013 to 20 CS10025, these students, assignment 0 will be evaluated by Karanam. Assignment 1 will be also evaluated by Karanam, but from 2 onwards, including and onwards, it will be rotated. So 2 will be checked by Soumi for this group of students, 3 will be checked by Wes Iqbal and so on, right? Similar is the case for the group 2. So group 2 in class TA is Soumi. So first 2 assignments will be checked by Soumi. Then I think from 3 onwards, I mean, I'll just add this assignment 0 evaluating TA. Just I missed it. So this then it will rotate from assignment 2 onwards, right? So Wes, Siva, Devang, and so on. So this is how it is grouped. There are a few things. One is that the last TA, I think when we prepared it, we did not know that he has a slot class with another TA duty that he is doing for the deferred first semester of the first year course. This is actually replaced with Yogesh. So after I make these changes, I will basically upload it and maybe we can inform you. The room name will also be similarly changed. Now, I think this also, yeah, I think I need to tell one more thing about the evaluation. So generally the deadline, I understand that this time there is this quarantine in SAM and SAM does not have good internet connection, etc. So probably this assignment 0 will be given an extension, but yeah, that we will discuss later. But generally what happens is that the deadline is the start of the next class. So the idea is that at the next class, suppose you are doing this assignment 0. So at the start of assignment 1 class, that is next week, at the start of it is the deadline. So next week at the start, what will happen? You will join the professor room. There will be these instructions, logistics, etc., description of the problem, etc. Now, Karanam will make a one-to-one meeting with, say, first is Osimanand. And that way, he has to now show the program or the code that has been written for assignment 0 to Karanam. So Karanam will ask some questions, evaluate some test cases running, and so on. There will be different evaluation strategies for different assignments. But whatever evaluation will be done after this, you leave the professor room and you join these your respective TA rooms. And then some individual meetings will be done. That the TAs will basically inform. So one thing we noticed last year, I don't know whether this will be the case here also, because you see there are how many 26 students in under one TA. So it may not be that all students will be evaluated on that day during the lab hour. So you might need to give like 15-20 minutes of your extra time that the TA will again arrange with you, the evaluating TA. So for assignment 3, for example, Wes will be evaluating these students. So Wes will contact. I mean, you guys will mutually come into a decision when you will meet and do the evaluation. So is there any question on this part? I think I have covered this evaluation, grouping, etc. Any questions?
Sir, this also means that we have to sit all the time in the TA room, even if our turn is at the last.
You can, or you basically during the lab hours, I would request you to be there, because there might be some announcements, something, okay, there is this change in the assignment, maybe something we missed, we want to add. So during the lab hours, I would request you guys to do that. And I think this was also the, or I don't know which section were you in the PDS lab, but yeah, at least in our section, in your case, it was the section. I mean, just think about offline classes, right? You will be generally there in the lab class, sitting around or roaming around. That's your decision, right?
Yeah, because otherwise it will be very difficult, as you can understand. So each TA is having to check 26 students. So please, they are your friends. So you should also, I think, cooperate with them a little bit.
Yeah. Any Any other questions on this evaluation part? The Moodle key will be how to share. I mean, maybe in the chat we will share the Moodle student key, or
we can just share now. I will just share the. So actually, Professor PPT has already shared in the morning, but
both the keys.
Both the keys he has shared, but I will just share.
Then it is fine. Yeah, then it's fine. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I will just share once more for the lab course specifically.
The student key. Yeah.
Yeah, the student key. Has somebody already shared it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Should I just paste it in the chat? The student key.
Do you have the key now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm hunting for it.
No. Yeah. I have it. Yeah. Ready.
Yeah. Okay.
In the chat, right?
Already 130 students have enrolled. So.
Oh, it is 130 now. Okay. The Moodle enrollment key for the students. Yeah, I have given it in the chat. So it is SEL2 to STU. That is in all in caps. So you should be able to see the assignment there. One thing I was noticing, yeah, I think we need to discuss about the deadline later. Yeah.
Yeah, about the deadline. Yeah, maybe what should we do? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean deadline. If we push it, that means the evaluation will also get late. If we start pushing it from the very beginning, it will be very difficult to manage at the end.
Yeah. So what is the
issue?
What is the exact problem actually for submitting in the next class?
So somebody was saying that they are quarantined, and is network an issue?
Yeah, students, can you please?
It's probably that in SAM the logistics is a little bit weak. So I think this kind of situation is not going to go away, at least in the early part of the semester.
Right.
So we have to, that is why we have to separate out the overall deadline and specific cases where the student is suffering from COVID or such medical condition for which BCRI is always providing a certificate. So
Right.
let us not change the overall deadline. But if some student is unable to complete because of staying in SAM or because of having contracted COVID or some such some such situation which the BCRI will certify, for those students specifically, we will give separate extension as we'll have to go with that mix. Otherwise, this will basically pile up because this issue will not get resolved with the first assignment. In the second assignment, we are on the rise part of the curve. We have 150 plus students in the campus who have got infected. So we will have to work through this. So let us do it on a case-to-case basis. It will be a little bit hassle for us and the TA, but that is the best way to manage.
Yeah, so you please, I mean, whoever is facing this problem due to this containment, quarantine, etc., just try to like mail us the medical certificate issued by BCRI Tech Hospital, and we will take measure. We will at least try to extend the deadline for you. But as PPT said, general deadline actually let us keep as the start of the next class.
Right.
So I was just noticing that probably the deadline is midnight the previous day.
I will change that. So I haven't set the deadline actually. So I will just set that.
Okay.
Yeah, that is why I was kind of.
Yeah.
I'll set it in the end. Yeah.
So now the students, you know who is your in-class TA, and I think all the TAs are here. So Yogesh, I called and he said he will be there. So Yogesh, you are here? Yogesh? Let me see. I think somebody was. Yeah, Yogesh, I can see you there, but probably there is yeah, some sort of bandwidth problem might be. But yeah, so all the TAs are here. So Yogesh, you just move to Rohit's room. So there is a room called Rohit in the calendar. So you will be just replacing Rohit. So Rohit and you will be swapped for theory and lab. So the students who are in Rohit's group, so if you go to the file that I told, the class logistics and then groups and TA assignment, the last group, that is the group 6, I think was under, let me check, Rohit. Yeah, TA is Rohit Pathak. So that will be changed to Yogesh Kumar. So the TA room which has the name Rohit Pathak, or I think it's the name is, where is it? Yeah, group 6 room Rohit. So just join there for today. Okay, and start doing the assignment. Anything else should we discuss, Shanasuda? Oh, you are muted.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Nothing else. So yeah, I was just so do the students have any other question? So I will I'm just updating the deadline of the assignment, and I will also upload the tentative class schedule in the slides, and I will just upload the slides in Moodle. So these are the two things I will upload. But any other questions? Students? Okay, I think.
Abir, you are saying something, but you are muted.
Oh yeah, I'm muted. So yeah, I was thinking that the group information, that is a TN group assignment, that was uploaded in the Teams. So should we upload it in the same place like Moodle or the course website?
Yeah, both places we will keep a copy. So I will upload the slides also in the Teams, like the first slides, and yeah.
Okay, so I shall modify it.
I think Shorangshu, I mean, why would we do it at two places? It will be extra effort.
Okay.
Just follow Moodle, because in any case for assignments and all, we'll have to do Moodle.
Right.
So let's do Moodle. Okay. So
let's
Moodle
just do Moodle. Teams, let us just use for the interaction only.
Yes.
And if there are short chat and all that, we can do that in Teams. Okay. But otherwise, I mean, some things will change. Then in one place we will update, other place we will forget. The typical software engineering issues will come. Let's not do a copy.
Yeah. That is exactly the problem. So yeah, I shall then upload after updating the document with the new group assignment and then adding the new student. I shall upload it in. Okay.
Good.
Yeah,
some students are asking some questions. Yeah, Professor, are we allowed to use non-standard Java libraries for assignment 0? Okay. So what do you mean by non-standard? How no? So if So I would say don't use, because the assignment is so simple. There is no need to use non-standard libraries. And then it might be difficult for the TAs to check, because okay, so you want to use ncurses for Java. I think that is fine. I think that is fine. Yeah, it will create a good text interface.
Actually, our view would be that unless the library substantially solves the problem that we have specified, we would encourage use of libraries as much as possible, because that's a core skill too that the students have to pick up, that based on the functionality that is being looked for, which library can be used, and that's how reuse will increase. In most of the assignments, they would not be solved in other libraries, but like ncurses and several other, let them use as much as possible.
Yes.
That will be a good learning, that how to use a right library for the purpose.
Yes.
Okay, if there are, I think, no more question, then people can head to the corresponding TA rooms.
Did we miss any question, by the way?
Is there?
Yeah, there are some. Okay, no, I think this was the only question, right? So can you please flag up any other questions we may have missed? Okay, how many persons in each group? I think that question is also answered. Yeah, I think all the questions are answered.
Yeah, so the students can now head to the respective rooms, I think, TA rooms. The TSU, I mean, anybody can start that room. It's not that only TAs will have to start, but the TSU also move to that room. You can leave this room.
Yes, so you can have a short discussion on the assignment, how to design, and so on and so forth, if you want.
Yes, Swaramsudha, I might call you in like a minute or two, just to discuss some other things.
Yeah, let us discuss. I think, I think here our job is done.
Yeah.
We'll disconnect now. So Shorangshu, tomorrow then you start off in the theory, because the introductory part that I had to talk of, I have done.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then I'll drop off. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.